Switch 2 just dropped 25 adventure games in 2026 you absolutely cannot sleep on. Kicking things off at number 1, Mixtape is one of the most emotionally rich adventure games to land on the Switch 2 this year. Developed by Beethoven and Dinosaur and published by Annapurna Interactive, this coming-of-age narrative follows 3 friends on their very last night together before life pulls them in separate directions. The soundtrack alone, featuring Iggy Pop, Joy Division, The Cure, and more, makes it unforgettable. The storytelling is layered, the visuals are stunning, and the whole experience feels less like a game and more like living inside someone's most treasured memory. Right into number 2. Call of the Elder Gods is a Lovecraftian narrative puzzle adventure and the direct sequel to the beloved Call of the Sea. You alternate between 2 protagonists, Professor Harry and his student Evangeline, as they dig through mysterious environments to uncover secrets tied to forces older than human understanding. The puzzle design is clever, the atmosphere is thick and unsettling, and the writing holds up as one of the most thoughtfully crafted narrative experiences available on the platform this year. A strong pick for fans of slow-burn mystery adventures. Moving on to number 3, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle brings one of gaming's most acclaimed recent adventures to the Switch 2, and it holds up beautifully. Machine Games puts you in Indy's boots as he races across the globe to stop sinister forces from exploiting an ancient power. The cinematic presentation, whip-based combat, clever puzzle solving, and first-person exploration all blend together into something that genuinely feels like playing an Indiana Jones film. One of the standout ports of 2026 on Nintendo hardware, no question about it. Arriving at number 4, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book is the first major Yoshi exclusive since Crafted World, and it delivers exactly the colorful, inventive platforming adventure the series is known for. Yoshi finds himself inside a living encyclopedia filled with strange creatures whose abilities he can borrow to solve puzzles and navigate levels. Bowser Jr. lurks throughout the pages, keeping the tension alive. It is crafted with Nintendo's signature attention to charm and creativity, and stands as one of the strongest first-party exclusives the Switch 2 has produced in its launch year. Number 5 is Outbound, a camping and open-world road trip adventure that encourages exploration at your own pace without pressure mechanics getting in the way. You customize a vehicle, set out into a wide open world, and discover what the environment has to offer on your own terms. The vibe sits between relaxed survival and cozy adventure, and it fills a niche that the Switch 2 library genuinely needed. For players who want something that rewards curiosity over combat, Outbound is one of the most satisfying pickups of the year. Stepping into number 6, Coffee Talk Tokyo transports the beloved visual novel series to Japan, where you run a late-night cafe welcoming both human customers and yokai who wander in when the city goes quiet. Every drink you brew shapes the conversation, and every conversation branches the story toward different emotional outcomes. The pixel art is warm and beautifully detailed, the writing carries real emotional weight, and the Tokyo setting adds fresh energy to the series. It is comforting, quietly moving, and one of the best cozy adventure experiences on Switch 2 in 2026. Coming in at number 7, Bubsy 4D marks a full 3D comeback for the cult classic Bobcat, and it is considerably more refined than anything the series has attempted before. Bubsy can now turn into a ball, climb walls, and navigate across 3 full planets as he chases down his stolen golden fleece from the Bobots. The game launched to enthusiastic reception at PAX East 2026, and while it is not trying to compete with the biggest AAA titles this month, it delivers a fun and surprisingly competent platformer adventure that earns its place in the Switch 2 library. Number 8, Tales of Arise Beyond the Dawn Edition brings the full package of one of the best modern action JRPGs to the Switch 2, with both the base game and the Beyond the Dawn expansion included. The story follows Alphen and Xion across a richly built fantasy world as they fight for the freedom of their people. Combat is fast and satisfying, the companion dynamics are genuinely compelling, and the expanded content adds meaningful hours beyond the main campaign. For anyone new to the series, this is the definitive version to start with. Arriving at number 9, Blueys' Quest for the Gold Pen is a charming adventure platformer based on the globally beloved animated series. Bluey sets off to rescue her gold pen from inside her own drawings, leading players through imaginative and familiar environments pulled directly from the show. The mechanics are accessible for younger players, while retaining enough creativity to keep adults engaged alongside them. The animation style translates beautifully into interactive form, and the warmth and humor that define the show carry through every level of the game. Number 10, Lollipop Chainsaw RePOP Nintendo Switch 2 Edition brings the zany hack-and-slash adventure back with cheerleader Juliet Starling taking on a zombie infestation in her hometown. The game wears its wild personality loudly and proudly, blending sugary visuals with genuinely brutal combat and an absurdist sense of humor that makes it stand apart from anything else in the Switch 2 library this year. The Switch 2 edition runs smoothly, and the whole package feels right at home on portable hardware, one of the more distinctive adventure picks of the year. At number 11, Stray finally arrives on the Switch 2, giving Nintendo players their chance to experience the acclaimed cat adventure that won hearts across every other platform. You play as a stray cat navigating a decaying cyberpunk city filled with robots, finding your way through tight alleys and forgotten districts while slowly uncovering the world's secrets. The atmosphere is stunning, the movement feels intuitive and tactile, and the emotional storytelling hits harder than most full-length narrative games. A must-have addition to any Switch 2 library. Number 12, Little Nightmares 2 Enhanced Edition delivers one of the best atmospheric horror adventure games of the past several years in a polished Switch 2 package. You guide Mono and Six through a distorted, oversized world full of grotesque enemies and deeply unsettling level design. The Enhanced Edition improves visuals and performance, making this one of the best ways to experience the game. Every chapter introduces new threats and new environments that ratchet up tension in ways that are hard to shake, even after putting the controller down. Stepping into number 13, Mouse PI for Hire is a stylized detective adventure that brings a genuinely distinct personality to the Switch 2 adventure lineup. You play as a mouse detective navigating a world built around investigation, wit, and exploration. The art style is bold and confident, the mystery writing keeps things moving at a sharp pace, and the overall experience is one of the more creative third-party offerings in the Switch 2 spring window. A great pick for anyone looking for something fresh and playful in the genre. Number 14, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth makes its Nintendo debut on Switch 2, and it is a massive deal for the platform. The second chapter of the iconic RPG remake follows Cloud and the team as they venture out into the wider world beyond Midgar in pursuit of Sephiroth. The world is sprawling and full of detail, the companion moments are deeply written, and the hybrid combat system feels better than ever in this package. It is one of the most ambitious RPG adventures available on Switch 2, and its arrival signals the platform is capable of handling the biggest games in the industry. Coming to number 15, The Adventures of Elliot the Millennium Tales is a brand new HD 2D RPG from the studio behind Octopath Traveler and Bravely Default, and it brings that same cinematic approach to an original story. Elliot discovers an artifact that lets him travel through time across 4 different ages, each with its own visual style, enemies, and story threads. The action-adventure combat system is a first for the studio, and the result is something that feels both familiar and genuinely fresh. One of the most exciting new IP launches on Switch 2 in 2026. Number 16, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes Nintendo Switch 2 Edition brings the acclaimed mystery puzzle adventure to the Switch 2 in its most polished form. Set inside a surreal hotel where logic bends and every room hides a new cipher or riddle, the game rewards patience, observation, and lateral thinking in ways that few puzzle adventures manage to achieve. The monochromatic art direction is striking, the atmosphere is dense and mysterious, and the whole experience is designed for players who want to be genuinely challenged. A standout for fans of slow, intelligent adventure design. At number 17, Super Mario Bros. Wonder Nintendo Switch 2 Edition breathes new life into one of the best 2D Mario games in years, with improved performance and the new Meet Up in Bellabelle Park cooperative features built for the Switch 2. The Wonder Flowers mechanic continues to surprise with creative transformations across every level, and the visual variety is some of the most inventive in the series. whether you played it on Switch 1 or are coming to it fresh, this edition is the definitive way to experience one of Nintendo's best recent adventures. Number 18, Sayonara Wild Hearts Nintendo Switch 2 Edition arrives on the platform as a musical rhythm adventure that is as much an audio experience as it is a game. You ride, fly, and dance through a neon-drenched world across a 45-minute pop album that serves as both soundtrack and narrative. The Switch 2 edition enhances the already gorgeous visuals and makes it one of the most stylish adventure experiences available on the hardware. Short in runtime, but massive in impact, it is the kind of game that stays with you long after the credits roll. Coming up at number 19, 2 Point Museum Artifacts arrives as a creative management adventure that puts you in charge of building and running your own museum, filled with bizarre and wonderful exhibits. You send expeditions out into the world to discover new artifacts, manage your staff, and design increasingly elaborate galleries to satisfy demanding visitors. The humor is sharp, the systems are satisfying, and the depth of content gives it serious replay value. A strong and distinct adventure entry in a Switch 2 lineup that needed something exactly like this. Number 20, LEGO Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight delivers an open-world Gotham City adventure built entirely from bricks, with fluid combat inspired by the Arkham series, and a massive roster of villains to face across the campaign. The game draws from decades of Batman lore, including comics, films, and games, packing the experience with Easter eggs, side activities, and Riddler puzzles. Both single-player and co-op modes are supported, making it one of the most accessible and content-rich adventure titles of the month. A dream come true for longtime LEGO Batman fans. At number 21, Rugrats Retro Rewind Collection brings the iconic 90s babies into a fully playable platform adventure that reimagines classic episodes as interactive environments. The cel-shaded visual style nails the look and feel of the original cartoon, and the writing lands for both nostalgic adult players and younger audiences experiencing the characters for the first time. Level variety keeps things fresh throughout, and the overall package is a loving tribute to one of animation's most beloved franchises. A feel-good adventure that earns its spot on the Switch 2. Number 22, Digimon Story Time Stranger arrives on Switch 2 as one of the most narrative-rich RPG adventures in the platform's 2026 lineup. The storytelling is nuanced and emotionally engaging, with deeply written character arcs and a type-matching combat system that rewards strategic thinking. The Digimon evolution mechanics offer genuine depth for players who want to experiment with party builds, and the Switch 2 edition runs the game in excellent form. For fans of story-driven adventure RPGs, this is one of the year's most underrated picks. Arriving at number 23, Kingdom's Return Time-Eating Fruit and the Ancient Monster, Nintendo Switch 2 Edition, brings a rich fantasy adventure RPG to the Switch 2, with improved visuals and performance enhancements built for the hardware. The game features deep world-building, strategic combat, and a narrative built around ancient curses and long-buried mysteries across a beautifully illustrated world. The Switch 2 edition gives new and returning players the best version of this title on any portable platform, a solid and rewarding adventure for RPG fans looking for something with substance. Number 24, Orbitals is a Switch 2 exclusive co-op adventure set inside a retro anime-styled galaxy that immediately stands out from everything else in the lineup. You play as either Maki or Omura as you travel through space together, solving puzzles and fighting to save your home station from a supernatural cosmic storm. The visual identity is bold and charming, the co-op design is thoughtfully built for shared play, and the exclusive nature of the title makes it one of the more compelling reasons to own Nintendo's latest hardware. A fresh and inventive adventure worth watching closely. Closing out the full list at number 25, Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection rounds off a genuinely stacked year for Switch 2 adventure games in impressive fashion. You play as a rider paired with a trusted Rathalos, setting out on a journey to uncover the truth behind a world teetering on the edge of destruction. The monster-raising mechanics, turn-based combat, and deep narrative bring a distinctly different energy to the Monster Hunter franchise, and the Switch 2 version delivers the complete experience in portable form. A beautiful and substantial adventure that closes out this list exactly as it deserves.